And that's why 100% I have to give this to... Hey guys, welcome to Finding Yugen. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ryan, and this channel is all about responsible traveling while on a budget. And without further ado, let's get into today's content. Continuing with our content on Couchsurfing, today I will be pitting Couchsurfing up against Airbnb to find out which one is the better accommodation service. And if you have not heard about Couchsurfing, make sure you check out my video right here where I give you an introduction on what I believe is the best travel app to help you immerse yourself in a local culture while on a budget. And again, I do have that video on Couchsurfing if you guys want to check that out, but I will be giving you a quick intro to both services right now. Couchsurfing is a service where you can stay with locals wherever you go for free. So this is a great way to immerse yourself in a local culture by getting hosted by a local. Airbnb, on the other hand, is definitely more accommodation heavy, as people rent out their property to others who are looking for accommodation in their destination city. And before we dive in, let me tell you the categories that I'll be using to judge these services. Number 1 is going to be price, number 2 is features, number 3 is types of accommodations, number 4 is level of ease of getting stays, 5 is safety, and of course number 6 is ethics. We are a responsible traveling channel, so of course we have to talk about ethics. Alright, now with our intros out of the way, on to the first subject, which is price. First up, Couchsurfing. Couchsurfing is absolutely free, though they do have a $60 verification fee. If you'd like to opt in, this will let you send more than 10 introductions to hosts. So after your 10th host, you probably want to be verified. It also helps Couchsurfing identify that you actually are who you say you are, so it is a safety measure as well. You also unlock 24/7 user support. This is a one-time payment that you never have to worry about ever again. And of course, Airbnb is a paid service with a wide price range depending on what type of accommodation you will be staying in. So when it comes to pricing, I'd have to say that Couchsurfing definitely wins as a free service, and you only have to pay a one-time $60 verification fee if you'd like. Airbnb, on the other hand, you have to pay per night, and the prices can climb depending on which accommodation you are planning on staying in. With prices out of the way, we are moving on to features. Both of these services offer a number of features that you can search for, starting with Couchsurfing. On the mobile app, you can search for hosts, travelers, and events. From there, if you go into the desktop, you can explore, find members, find groups, and find local advice depending on where you're going. Also, while searching, you can look at more in-depth filters for hosts as well as travelers. So events are events that people can invite other people to. So say that maybe someone is going to a concert, they're going to the bars, or even something as simple as someone hosting live yoga on Instagram. They'll post the event on Couchsurfing and you can join that event. You can also input your upcoming trip, so hosts and other travelers can see when you're going to be in the city, as well as use the Hangouts tab. So say you don't want to stay with someone overnight, you can always update a request to hang out with somebody. You can say you want to grab beers or get food, and somebody can see that and join you. The local advice tab is possibly my favorite feature of Couchsurfing, just because you can type in wherever place you're going, and then you see a list of forums of different questions that people have asked locals, and you can see all the answers that locals provide. It's so cool to me. It's a little bit of a shame that it's only on the desktop version, but what can you do? And again, Couchsurfing only lets you send 10 introductions to people without verification. For Airbnb on the mobile app, all you have to do is type in first where you're going, and then choose from stays, monthly stays, or experiences. Choose your dates. Choose your number of guests. And then it will show you a list of stays, experiences, or monthly stays. On desktop, you just type in your location, your check-in and check-out dates, as well as the number of guests. And then you can choose from places to stay, monthly stays, experiences, and now with the crisis going on, online experience. Airbnb also includes a fair list of filters per each search that you're doing, and I will be diving into those shortly in the types of accommodations category. Experiences are other services that locals provide. Once you type in your location and choose experiences, it shows you a quick list of filters here that you can choose from. And then as you go down, you can see a bunch of different experiences provided, like dance lessons, walks, astrology readings, wellness, yoga, and you can see top rated experiences as well as all experiences. So you guys can check those out if you are looking for a more local experience while you are in your destination city. Experiences are also categorized, so just for an example, I'm on Barcelona here. You can see there are experiences for cooking, animals, food and drink, art and culture, nature, entertainment, sports, and wellness. Now, I don't know if these are all of the filters that are included for experiences, so let me know down in the comments if I'm missing any, but as far as I know, these are all the ones that they offer. Airbnb also offers adventures, though with my experience, it's kind of hard to find adventures just because there isn't a designated search bar for adventures. Adventures are trips that are put together by locals. They last a few days. Food and transportation are both included. Those are all included in the price that you pay for the adventure itself. Airbnb also includes the Saved and Trips tab. For the Saved tab, you can save certain experiences or stays that interest you, and you can find them right there. For your trips, it will show you upcoming trips and your past trips as well. If you want to view these tabs on desktop, all you have to do is go to your profile and then go a few spaces down and they will be right there. I do feel that Airbnb's biggest strength here is its experience tab. In comparison to Couchsurfing's events tab, where people upload an event, it happens, it's over, and then you move on, Airbnb's experiences tab features experiences that are regular because they're paid services, so you can see references as to how awesome the experience was, and you're pretty much going to know what you're going to get out of that experience. I will say though that the local advice tab definitely draws me a little more towards Couchsurfing, just because it's an awesome idea to be able to ask locals questions and get their answers as to how to enjoy your time in their city the most. So it's pretty difficult, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Couchsurfing. And with Couchsurfing's second win, we will be moving on to our next category, which is types of accommodation. Alright, so Couchsurfing does have a good number of accommodations. So all you have to do is click hosts, type in where you are going, go to the hosts, and then you can choose filters from here. So you cannot choose filters while you're searching, but after you put in which place you're going. So hit filters. And then all you have to do is put your arrive and depart dates, how many travelers are going, and then there's host info, so if they have references, if they're verified, what their gender is, their last activity, languages, their age, and then from there you can go to accommodation. So if you want a private room, you can check that off. There's also home info, so if smoking is allowed, if there are kids at home, if it's suitable for children, if there are no pets at home, if pets are welcome, and if it's wheelchair accessible. On the mobile app, you can choose to see if it is up to 31 miles away from the city center, I believe. I believe on the desktop, you can go up to 50 miles. Then from there, you can sort by best match, experience, or last login. Then you can see what their availability is. So once you hit apply, it'll show you a list of hosts that match your filters. It doesn't show your filters on the hosts until you actually click on them and then go to their read more section on the desktop. This will be under home info, and then it will show all of their accommodation filters here. Airbnb definitely lands more on the accommodation and amenities side of things, as you will see shortly. So all you have to do is type in where you're going. So I'm just gonna put in Barcelona for the sake of consistency. Choose places to stay, your dates, how many travelers are going, and I'm just going to adjust my travel dates here so you guys can see. I'm just going to go without any travel dates. So now you can see a list of stays that you can choose from. From there, you can choose your filters. You will first see the most popular filters, followed by the opportunity to instant book. So this is booking without waiting for the host to respond. Usually the host will have to approve your stay and then you can message them. From there, you can go to verified places. So if it's Airbnb Plus or Airbnb Lux, then you can choose your price range and then type of place. So if you want the entire place, you can do that. If you want a private room, hotel room, or shared room, you can choose. Then you can go to rooms and beds, so how many beds you would like, bedrooms and bathrooms, the cancellation flexibility, and then from there you can choose more options. So there's the super hosts, so stay with recognized hosts, There's accessibility, which actually has a bunch of features for accessibility. So there are no stairs or steps to enter, well-lit path, things like that. You can go through those. So if you are disabled and you need special accessibility, there you go. From there, you can go to amenities, and Airbnb has a ton of amenities that you guys can check off. Then you can go on to facilities. So if you need free parking, gym, hot tub, or pool, you can choose those. You can go on to property type, which is, again, there are a ton of property types. Unique stays, a bunch of those. Then you can go under house rules, so if there are pets allowed or smoking allowed. You can check the neighborhoods around the city you're visiting. As you can see, there's a lot for Barcelona. The host language. And that's all. So once you hit show stays, you will be taken to this page. On the mobile app, it doesn't actually show you any filters or amenities on the search page, but if you are searching on desktop, with every stay that you can look at, there's actually a list of amenities underneath them that you can also check out. I will say that Couchsurfing is more of a social platform with accommodation services available, whereas Airbnb is very accommodation heavy, and you can see that in these filters. So I do have to give Airbnb the win here for accommodations. All right, moving on from Airbnb's first win, we are going to be moving to the level of ease to get stays category. For Couchsurfing, I will definitely say it's not as easy to get stays as Airbnb. Couchsurfing, again, is more of a social platform, so you want to be able to send a personable message to the host to get them to host you. Again, you only get 10 free introductions to hosts, so you want to make sure you are sending messages that are personable and not just generic, hey, I'm coming to your city, host me. With Airbnb, if you have enough money and you agree to house rules, usually the hosts can just approve your stay and then you're able to stay there. So if you do have the money, I believe that Airbnb has the easier way of getting stays. And therefore, Airbnb has its second win, so we are tied at 2-2. Moving on to our next category, which is safety. Again, if you have not seen my video on Couchsurfing, I did go through the safety features of Couchsurfing thoroughly in my last video, so make sure you check that out. But I will be giving you a quick run through of both right here. Both Couchsurfing and Airbnb have a good number of safety features, the first of which being the verification system. They both have a verification system. Like I said before, Couchsurfing's verification system is a one-time $60 payment, and that confirms the identity of whoever is trying to be verified. So as you can see here, it shows the green check mark on a host who is verified. From there, you can also go ahead and check out their references. So this is another awesome safety feature that you guys can check out just to make sure that hosts are safe to stay with. Couchsurfing definitely shines when it comes to getting information about your host before talking to them, whereas you can go to their home info and see what is allowed and what kind of accommodations they have. And you guys can also read up on the 9 sections that are included in every profile so that you guys can get a better sense of who you will be hosted by. Both platforms also give you the ability to report members who you believe are unsafe. And like I said before, Airbnb has its own verification system. It is free to go ahead and update your government ID so people can see that you are who you say you are. You can also check out filters for verified places and also super hosts. If you go down a little bit, it's right here. So you can stay with recognized hosts and stay in places that are verified for quality and design. Once you guys check those filters, you guys can also see that Airbnb has its own reference system, and you can see the stars at the bottom right corner here. You just click on it and you'll be able to go to the references right down at the bottom right here. We show all references, all reviews, and you can see how well people rate this accommodation. You can also click on the host profile on the accommodation that you are looking at on Airbnb. Just go ahead and click that. And once you come up on the host page, you will see if they are a super host, if they are verified, how many reviews they have, and they also have an about section, so you guys can check that out. It's not as thorough usually as Couchsurfing is, but as you can see, it is still pretty informative. I will say though that where Airbnb shines here is through its safety center. So if you are on the mobile app, you just go to your profile and go down until you hit Safety Center. Click on that. And you can see that you can go ahead and call local emergency services from Airbnb. You can also go ahead and do your security checklist, so you can verify your phone number as well as fill in your About Me info here. They also give general travel safety tips for guests and hosts. So I think this is an awesome service that they provide. You can also go ahead and read more on Airbnb trust and safety here. Aside from the safety center, Airbnb also offers neighborhood support. So you can go ahead and call the local authorities from here. You can also see if there's a party or disturbance nearby and call neighborhood support. From there, you can also look at non-urgent neighborhood concerns and send Airbnb a message. You can also fill out the short form on noises or partying. If you go ahead and click Help Center, you can also see that Airbnb provides a pretty thorough help center on different concerns that you guys can check out, one of them definitely being safety and accessibility. Couchsurfing also has help when it comes to safety concerns. It just is not as accessible as Airbnb's safety center. So what you're going to want to do is go to Help, go to Help Center, choose your method, and then hit Trust and Safety. From there, you can look at general tips, warnings and content removal, member-to-member issues, emergencies, reporting abusive content, references, and scams. If you'd like, you could also contact the safety team here. Even with Airbnb's awesome safety center, it's quite sad to know that it is pretty well known for its scams. So I'm going to leave you guys this article from Vice down in the description so you guys can check it out. It's the most common Airbnb scams. Such scams can include money scams, review scams, and probably the most popular is the bait and switch, where hosts will claim to have a plumbing problem and try to get guests to move to a different accommodation, usually far less desirable, yet at the same price that they originally booked their first accommodation. Right, although I do love Airbnb's safety center, and I do believe that Couchsurfing definitely needs something like that, with more of the scams being reported through Airbnb, I would say that Couchsurfing is probably a bit safer. You have to remember though to always check references, guys. References are key to knowing if the person that you are staying with is trustworthy. And last but not least, we are going to be looking at ethics. So when it comes to ethics, Couchsurfing really has not faced any major issues at all. It really comes down to the host and the guests. So are the hosts trustworthy, and are the guests respectful towards the hosts and the local culture? It's just things that you have to keep in mind. On the other hand, Airbnb has actually been under fire plenty of times due to its questionable ethics. Airbnb is known for its host scams as well as some illegal practices by hosts, where hosts will put up their rentals despite local laws. However, my biggest gripe with Airbnb is how it can hurt the local quality of life. On the smaller aspect of things, maybe it could be due to pollution or noise complaints, but it also comes down to people specifically buying houses, apartments, etc. for Airbnb rentals. It really takes away from locals who are actually looking for a place to live, and it also hikes up rent prices so that when locals do find a place to live, they have to spend an arm and a leg to actually live there. Whereas with Couchsurfing, you have one person who lives in a home that lets you stay with them for a couple of nights. Airbnb has really turned into a business that kind of manipulates the system, takes advantage of locals, and puts their needs aside for the dollar. And that's not something that I really jive with when it comes to Airbnb, and that's why 100% I have to give this to Couchsurfing. And there you guys have it. Couchsurfing wins. Again, this is my personal opinion. If you disagree with me, go down in the comments down below and let me know. Whereas Couchsurfing is more about living the local lifestyle and building relationships with your hosts, Airbnb has really turned into finding the right accommodation no matter the cost to locals, and that's what really hurts my views of Airbnb. If you guys absolutely love Airbnb, I implore you guys to check out Fairbnb. It just opened in 2019. It's a new co-op. It's a much more sustainable version of Airbnb. I haven't actually used it yet, but I know that half of all of the proceeds that would normally go towards the Fairbnb platform goes to local community service projects. So make sure that if you guys are more on that, I want a good accommodation side of things, check out Fairbnb and let me know what your experience is like. Alright, and as always, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys next week.